Hello everyone, I'm the Braxman here with an epic fantasy video here. We are going to be talking about how to build and gear your heroes within the game. So before we go ahead and get into that, if you'd like to see more content like this for epic fantasy, please go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out tremendous, and go ahead and hit that notification bell to allow you to see other and future content that I do post. Along with that, every Monday through Friday on Twitch, I do stream both Epic Fantasy, Rune Strike, and Raid Shadow Legends. I will have in the description down below, I will have a link to that. Make sure to come on by. I would love to hear and from you guys how this video helped you out, and or how you like my channel. So with that, let's get into it. Let's talk about how to gear your champions. So the first question you are going to look at is, what are the types of heroes here? So right here, I got a few selections. So we have a dealer type of hero right here. Here you have a debuffer. Right here you got a tanker, and there's a support. And within the support part, you have both a buffer and or a healer. So Gallard, he provides us with lots and lots of heal, while Acacia, which is another supporter, which gives us tons and tons of buffs. Both of them are great, but typically when you're building a team, you want at least one of each of those. So you're going to probably want a supporter, both healing and buffing, a tank, a dealer, maybe a debuffer, or another tank. That is probably going to be your peak team composition. So with that, we go to one of our heroes. So we are going to be working on building up our Gwen. So the first thing we have to note is the skill. So right here, it shows you all the different skills that this particular hero has. So Gwen has three different skills, and then a allies leader skill, which gives us a little bit of attack speed. Which, if you put it as her as lead, she'll give us that attack speed. So when going through these skills, we go from left to right, and we see, it is quick attack, level 1. We can skill it up and level it up to get more damage out of it. But with it, we see that this skill is based off of physical or attack rather than magic. So when building her, we are going to most likely look for building up her attack, because her skills are based in that. And then we go down, see our extra portion, which is still probably going to be based in the attack. And then you see 2 buffs. Well, since there is no debuffs, we are not necessarily going to need effect accuracy. So let's double check her second skill. Her second skill is based in attack as well, some magic. So you are still focusing heavily on attack. Next, we go to her, or at the bottom of it, you see there is still no debuff, so we're not necessarily focusing on effect accuracy. The reason why I say that is, in order to put out debuffs, you would want your effect accuracy as high as you possibly can to make sure those debuffs stick and are effective against your opponents. So then we go against the third skill, same here, physical rather than magic based, and another buff. So all right there, we see when gearing her, we are going to be looking very heavily on attack rather than magic. So for another example, we pulled up our Gwen. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at a different deal and look at her A1 ability. So first one, we see most of her damage is coming from her magic ability. Then we continue going down, and we see we have a debuff. As you know, this is a debuffer, so it is likely to have debuffs on them. So with it, we are taking away their basic effects. So with it, we are needing lots and lots of effect accuracy to make sure that debuff sticks. And then we go to the second skill. Same here, magic heavy. Does some buffs to her if we can put out or destroy her shield, destroy endurance, or invincibility. We gain a little action gauge, which is equivalent to like a turn meter, or in this game, it's called action gauge. Then we go to the third ability, which is also based in magic, along with 2 debuffs of all skill cooldown delay by 1 turn, So right here, you see this skill has 4 turns of cooldown before it can be reused again. With it, this decreases it. So if we use this turn, it would go, you would say, it uses the turn and then it'll have 4. In this case, if your opponent has already used a turn, if your opponent has 3 turns before it can use a skill in, it'll go to a 4 turn instead of a 3 turn. It adds 1 more turn on it. Okay, so now let's go back to our Gwen. Now, after looking at the skill and noticing that she is based heavily in attack, we go to the equipment. Within equipment, there are 2 types of pieces or 2 types of gear. So right here, if you go and look at our gear, you have magic based. Let's see. If you scroll to the very bottom, you have a normal tier. So the difference between these are, if you look at normal, we have 1 main main stat, which is just HP. Let's see, attack. I think there's magic one. Boom. They're all just flat. If you go to a boot that is in the magic category, you have 2 main stats of the same type. You can have HP, you can have magic, you can have attack, in addition to your attack speed. So when you are building your character, you want to see if you can get as many magic stats or sets or pieces that you can get on your character. That way they can get the both main stats rather than just one. So that's what you see from there. So the best way to gear up a character is go left to right. So you have your weapon, ring, rune, helmet, chest piece, and boot. I recommend saving the rune until last. But let's go ahead and start gearing her. So let's see. When we are looking for the magic or for the attack base. So we're going to go to equipment, go to weapon. What weapons do we have? So right here we have a main stat of attack and magic. Well, she is based in attack. So there is another piece that does both attack and attack. So we are going to be looking for that piece. So let's go ahead and upgrade it to max. Boom. So we have those maxed out and along with some substats. So when you max out your piece, you're able to see all 4 different substats that are there. Well, with it, we are going to want more attack, either some HP or magic to make sure that we are either doing more damage or staying alive. Also, I forgot to mention, but attack speed, which is where you tell that your hero, or attack speed is what allows your champion or hero to go more and more turns. So we want the attack speed as high as we possibly can to make sure that our hero gets as much turns as possible. So let's see if we can find a weapon that gives them some attack speed. So right here is a nice piece to start off with. Yeah, that's a nice piece. So with it, if we were to equip it, we can see our damage increases because it's both an attack. Then you see our magic increases and attack increases along with our attack speed stats. So you see all of what this piece would affect for us. So let's go ahead and equip it. And okay, boom, it goes onto one of these slots. We go to a ring. Let's see, let's go to the ring section. So with it, you have both crit and or effect accuracy. Those are the 2 types of rings you can put on. Since we are building a damage dealer and she doesn't have any debuffs, we are not looking to put any effect accuracy on. So we are going to want that crit. This crit allows us to get as much damage out on your opponents as you possibly can. So let's go ahead and upgrade this piece to max. Boom, we got some attack speed. We got a decent amount of attack coming in and magic. So this will definitely help her get bigger damage from the crits, along with good damage from the attack and attack speed, allowing us to get more turns in. So that's a good one. Let's go ahead and level up another piece. It is pretty easy to level up pieces in this game. So whenever you can, go to your piece and upgrade to max. It's pretty easy to get the resources necessary to level these up. if you are having problems with upgrading, make sure you get your dungeons done, do your stages, make sure you're constantly doing those to make sure you have the resources necessary to build. So right now we are looking at this piece. This is probably the best one. Wait, no, I take that back. Yep, we want this one. Reason why is it is a attack stat, our main stat, along with crit. Gives us some attack speed, along with some attack and magic. So our damage is going up, we are going faster, and we have a main stat of attack. The reason why I wouldn't necessarily choose this one is because we get HP, and that's not what we need for our attack dealer. The HP would help keep her alive, but it doesn't help us get more damage out. But it also gives us a lot of speed, so that could be really nice as well. Either way, you could probably go, but I would recommend the attack base because she is a dealer. We want as much damage from her. So we're going to go ahead and equip that. As I said, we are going to wait and leave the rune until last. Let's go to the helmet section. So boom, I don't have, they are just like in this game, or when you collect heroes, you have the different rarities. You have common, uncommon, rare, SR, and SSR. Same for gear. You have your commons, uncommons, rares, SR, and SSR type gear. So the further and higher type gear, the better for you to place on your piece or on your heroes. Right now, I'm kind of in the transition between SR and SSR pieces. So keep that in mind. Not everyone's going to be the exact same. But if you can, make sure you're magic and you are doing the very best farming for the best gear you can possibly get. So now with a damage dealer, we want to make sure our turns are done. We are more wanting to make sure that whenever we get a chance, we can use our turns. So with that, we are going to be looking for a effect resistance. The reason why, if they put a debuff on us, we want to make sure that we can do our turn. If we do crit resistance, which is also good, but it doesn't prevent us from getting debuffs that either limit the amount of times that we can do turns, they limit the damage that we can do. The crit resistance does make it so that we can receive more damage, but yet it doesn't help us to make sure we get turns in whenever we can. So we are wanting the effect resistance instead. So right here, that is probably my biggest piece. Let's go ahead and upgrade it to max, see if we get anything good. So we get some HP and magic and attack. Personally, let's see if we can do one more piece. Maybe give us a little bit more attack speed to make sure we get those turns in. Right here, boom. It gives us effect resistance, HP, little bit of HP in here. So it's not giving us the main stat of attack that we need to get our damage, but it does allow us to that sustainability, and that's what the helmet's meant for. It's meant to keep us alive, so HP perfectly fine in this piece. So let's go ahead and equip it. As you saw in here, and not much in you get tons of damage because of attack and magic, which is good, but it doesn't help you stay alive, and that's what the helmet's generally used for, to help keep you alive. So next we have the chest piece. Let's go ahead and look at what our chest pieces are. Right here you also have the option for more sustainability, which is keeping yourself alive, or sustainability with damage. In this case, we're building a damage dealer. We want the sustain along with damage. So with her, let's see if we can get one with, they're all magic based with HP. Let's see if we can get a good attack speed with maybe some attack substats to make sure we get the best. So let's see, this might, no. I'm just trying to see what would be the best piece for us. Boom, boom. Maybe this would probably be the best. Gives us magic, HP, decent amount of HP, so we're staying alive that way. Magic, it is it's not the best for us, which is attack, but magic does help us with our damage. And along with it, it gives us some attack speed, which allows us to get more turns in. So definitely a nice piece to have. So let's go ahead and equip that. And last but not least, we have the boot. Well, not second to last thing, I mean. Okay, so with it, we have an HP and attack speed. Or let's see if we can get attack. Ooh, right here. Attack and attack speed. Let's go ahead and upgrade this piece. Get some attack, magic, and HP. So that's meh. We got some good stats up here, but let's see if we can get something better in these substats. So boom, right there, we get a lot of attack speed and attack speed down there. Magic and attack, so our damage is going up. We're getting more turns in. And right there, I'm liking that piece quite a bit. But let's double check what these other pieces got to offer us. Well, right here. Boom. Okay, I think we just hit the jackpot with lots and lots of attack speed right here. So let's go ahead and equip this. So with it, we are getting attack, lots and lots of it, and lots of attack speed, so we're getting more and more turns in. So now we have, last but not least, we have the rune. So runes, we use alchemist stones, which allow us to get a rune. And with this rune, it gives us a main stat and some substats. So let's go ahead and try one out. We are going to be looking for a main stat of attack with some effect accuracy, but effect resistance and maybe some crit. So let's go ahead and alchemize our first stone. Gives us some HP. Well, we were looking for a attack. So this necessarily isn't going to give us, but it is a nice piece because it is SSR, higher quality. So right here on the obtainable rune tier, you can see where it ranges between a 1-star SSR to a 4-star SSR. So right here, we're at a 3-star. It's nearing the high, so that's quite nice. I don't know if we're going to get much nicer piece, but it does give us that crit, a little bit of magic, crit resistance, so we're keeping us alive. So for now, it probably is not the best piece, but since there is a randomizing effect, sometimes it's hard to get a really nice rune, so sometimes you gotta take what you have. So if you can get higher on the list, better, but if you can get closer to what you need to better those skills, such as getting attack or crit, if that would be the perfect choice, but since we are getting a nice tier, I'm going to keep it. So next we have sets. So right here, equipment, we're done, we're good, we're perfect on that. Let's go ahead and look at the sets section. So with it, sets have the same thing as kind of the equipment. You have your weapon, your ring, your helmet, chest piece, and boot, along with a rune. So let's go ahead and go left to right once again and see if we can do the best for it. So the difference is for this, each of these pieces, when put together in a set, so you have the first half is like a 3-piece sets, and then it changes to a 2-piece set the further down we go. Boom, Splendor, a 2-piece set. So when building a person, you are going to do a 3-piece and a 2-piece, and together they give a bonus. Not just of the stats that they provide, but a bonus. So for example, Splendor right here, if we were able to put both our weapon and ring down, it'll make it so that we get a extra % of damage from each of her hits, or Gwen's hits. So when building a damage dealer, we are wanting, so scroll back to the top, we are wanting a goal. So what that goal should be is we want lots and lots of turns. We want to make sure she stays alive, and the fact that she can do lots and lots of damage for us. So those are 3 ideas of what we want for this particular hero. So we need to make that come true. So with that, we are looking at what stats can we get, or what pieces of sets that we can put on to make sure that we get that out of her build. So right here, you have the Blue Knight, which gives us defense. We're not necessarily looking for extra protection. Instantly recovers HP. We're not necessarily going again. We're not necessarily looking for life. Attack speed right here. This is nice right here, allowing us to get more turns in via the attack speed. Sadly, I do only have 2, both a chest piece and a boot. We would need at least a helmet to complete this set, since you have the 3-piece can only go on a bottom row, while a 2-piece can go only on the top. So you can't mix and match, so it's hard to do that. So let's go ahead and keep on going. So all allies have shield for 2 turns at the start. So right there, we're not necessarily looking for that. We're not looking for a shield. But Reaper looks like a nice set, but we have a problem once again. We do not have a complete set, but I do like the fact that it increases our damage and allows us a blood sucking on turn acquisition, 1 turn. So what blood sucking does is when you put out tons of damage, you receive some of the damage as health, and that health heals your character up a bit. So that is a really nice set to have on your character, along with Invincible, to make sure that Invincible is also a nice set. I think we are going to be putting a, actually, let's see, we may not actually be able to put a single set on her since I don't have enough pieces. But Invincible is a nice piece just to make sure that she stays alive for the first 2 turns and doesn't die, because sometimes your opponent targets your dealer to make sure that you do not put enough damage out to defeat them. But with these sets, it is sometimes hard to get a perfect amount of them. So for me, it looks like we're not necessarily going to be able to put a 3-piece on it. So in that case, I will tell you what I recommend of these sets. I recommend pretty much every one of these top, or actually pretty much all these 3 set pieces are great. The last 3 are a little questionable, just because they aren't used as commonly. But Ancient Monster is good, especially on tankers. Then we got the Alchemist, attack speed and attack speed start of turn. I like this for debuffers to make sure that you go first. Those debuffers go first and make sure that they put out those debuffs so the rest of your team can do extra damage against them. So Alchemist is good for debuffers. And then, yeah, those are the yeah, those 2 actually. The bottom 2 are probably the least common, but those would be the ideal placements for them. So now let's go ahead and just look at the 2-piece set. So right here, we got max HP with our Guardian. Well, we're not necessarily looking for more HP, but we want damage. So right here, Splendor, definitely a nice set, but we only have rare and uncommon pieces. So let's keep on looking, but the damage potential with this set would be quite nice on a damage dealer. Let's keep on going. Since we are attack based, we could do the attack type. That is a nice one for a damage dealer. Magic, since we're not magic based, it doesn't really help us that much. Right here, defense and effect resistance. This is really nice on tanks to make sure that they are able to take a turn and stay alive because of the defense. Against Quartz set right here adds damage and effect accuracy. I like this one on sometimes damage dealers as well as debuffers to make sure we got the effect accuracy to put out those debuffs. So there's another nice 2-piece set. And right here, probably one of my favorites of them for good damage dealers is Black Star. Being able to increase our crit damage and critical hit by 20% and 25%. Right here, I love this set, especially for damage dealers. But right here, we do not have enough to make both a weapon and a ring because they're all weapon based. So let's go ahead and go up just a teensy bit and put on our let's do attack, because we got the weapons and the rings. It'll give us the best benefit. So let's go ahead and go over here. Magic and magic, they're both based right here. Okay, we got 2 rings or necklaces that give us attack. So we are looking for those. In this case, it gives us more attack speed, allows us more turns. So we're going to go ahead and definitely do that one. Go ahead and equip that. Let's go ahead and equip this weapon. As I see, boom. Okay, here's an attack-based one. And right here again. Okay, so it gives us a flat stat main of attack and 2 subsets of attack along with attack speed. So we're getting more and more fast. Oh wait, that's a ring. Okay, I take that back. Right here. This is attack. We're going to do this one because I know it's magic based, but our skills do level up with give us some more damage with magic. But I like the fact that this gives us some attack speed. So we're going to go ahead and equip that. And so I didn't have enough to do the 3-piece, but we were able to do the 2. And last but not least, let's go ahead and check on the runes. So the same kind of deal with the equipment and the rune right there. You have the same thing, so you'll be able to see the rune tiers that you can go. I recommend, if you are going to use this, hold off until you can do R and above. Right now, I'm between uncommon and rare. So personally, I do not want to spend to do it, but it's the same process. You go ahead and alchemize, and it'll spit out a rune, and you're looking for these stats to help increase your damage and or provide resistance to any debuffs, especially if you're a damage dealer. But if you're a tank, crit resistance is great because he is going to be receiving tons and tons of damage by virtue of being hit. So right there, we got it. We talked about all the skills, the equipment, and the sets, and what I recommend for each of them. If you have any down in the comments, let me know, and or tell me what you guys think about this video and what types of sets do you guys like to use. I know I love the Black Star. It is a great two-piece set along with the Marauder set for the three-piece. I love those in conjunction, especially with damage dealers. But I hope you enjoyed it. In the description down below, if you like and or are wanting to try out Epic Fantasy, please go ahead and look at the description down below. You have a link to the Android and iOS Apple systems to download the game, as well as a Discord and Facebook group for the game as well. To go ahead and check those out. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys later.